Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are testing out the light system in the carport, and I will be doing part 1 of 2 of the 5,000 mile maintenance on a Honda CRV Hybrid EX. So without hesitation, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the tires. Normally you would swap which side the tires are on as well, but because these are directional tires, all we are going to be doing is swapping the front with the back on both sides. So let me get this jacked up. I'll make sure your jack is in a proper position underneath. Get a little height on there. I put the jack right under the frame so the tire will float. Yeah, we're off the ground on this one. If I was going to be doing any more maintenance under like actually going underneath it to change the oil, which will be in part 2, I would do a lot more bracing and whatnot. But since I'm just swapping the 2 tires front and back, I'm just going to jack up this side, swap the tires, and not put a jack stand underneath. When I do go to change the oil in the next video, then I will put a jack stand underneath. Yeah, man. Alrighty, so there we go. As you can see, I already have the proper size socket out. I have my Ugga Dugga. Let's take her off. If you were doing this by hand, I would have broken them all free before jacking them up. And if you don't already have it, find something to kneel on. It is well worth it for your knees. Now, this one is a keyed lug nut, so that people can't just jack up and steal your tires. So we have a corresponding key that we have to match up. There we go. Put these someplace safe and out of the way. While we're here, we're going to inspect the rotor, the brake shoe, the brake caliper, and basically everything in here. Make sure everything looks good. Check the shocks, all the stabilizers, and the general condition of the wheel well. A little bit dirty, but not too bad. No rust started or anything. And then we're going to move over to the next one. With the same procedure, basically. Now again, while it's off, check the rotor, check the brake shoe, brake caliper, general condition of the whole thing. Everything looks good. And we throw the tire that was on the back on the front. Now, never stick your hand under the tire like this unless you want a broken hand. If you are strong enough to pick it up like that, that works. You can always come around, brace yourself, and pick it up like this. And again, if that's too much, one thing that I have done in the past, let me see if you got a good shot from right there. Is I will place my hands like this and squeeze up with my thighs. But most tires you don't need to do that. You just need to pick them up. Now, never start a lug nut with the power gun. Always start it by hand. I can't reach in there with gloves, so I'm starting it like this. I'm not doing a star-shaped pattern because all I'm doing is just starting these. When I go to tighten them, then I will tighten them in a star-shaped pattern. If you're doing a bigger tire, like on a tractor-trailer truck, a dump truck or something like that, then yes, I would start it in a star-shaped pattern. Just because that helps hold it a lot more. So, now that they are started, I'm going to lower the setting that Ugga Dugga is on. Bring you back over here and tighten it up. So by lowering the setting, that way I can finish tightening with a torque wrench. And now I am doing the star-shaped pattern. And always, always snug them all up and then tighten them down. Never just start tightening them down. And I always tighten down in a round robin style pattern afterwards. There we go. Gently let it down. Just set my torque wrench. Now, trick with torque wrenches is you want consistent, straight power. You do not, say again, you do not want to jerk it or bounce it. So you can tighten it like I just did in a round robin style pattern because I know that they are already almost there, very close to being fully tight. or you can tighten it in the star-shaped pattern. Again, if this was a bigger vehicle, I would probably do the star-shaped pattern. But that is all set. There was something else I was going to say. Oh yes, when you are using a torque wrench, to ensure that it doesn't get locked up and just start clicking, that's why you hear me ratchet it a few times, to ensure everything is loose in there. So I'm going to throw that tire on, and then we'll call it a video, and I will repeat this whole thing on the other side, but I'm not going to make you sit through it for that. I will make you watch and sit through this one. Oh, last thing, if you are going to skip the rest of the video, I always write down all of the maintenance in this log book. I'm not sure how, but I'll figure out how to attach this, scan it, and attach a copy of this in the description of this video in case you want to use this style log book. So all this does is just what it is, all of that stuff, what maintenance has been on it, and such forth. That way you know when was the last time you did something and how much it cost approximately, so you know how much it'll do it again. Alright, thanks for sticking around if you did. Hope you enjoyed this. Part 2 where I change the oil, and part 3 where I check all of the air filters will be out shortly. Have a good day, everybody.